Women have so much capabilities just as much as men do.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can really bust through those glass ceilings that are not really there.
Yeah.
You just put the intention out there first, set the intentions, take the action and move forward and ask for help. The biggest thing is to get help. Still at this point, I have mentors, I have people, I hire companies that help with certain things. Strategy, even on our level, we want to level up to the next level.
Right.
And so you always think of that bigger picture on that side.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Happy Life Agenda. I'm Dani C., and I am so excited to be here today with Tamara Thompson, the CEO of Broadcaster Authority. I wouldn't be sitting here right now if it weren't for her. She has a phenomenal business that is helping women and actually any individual launch their podcast, but she does so much more than that to really open up opportunities for women. So Tamara, thank you so much for being here today. How are you?
Oh, I'm so good. So grateful that you flew in here just to be with us as well. And I'm so grateful to be on the show.
Awesome. Well, thank you for hosting us. So I want to chat today about, you and your story and how you arrived at Broadcaster Authority and kind of what inspired you to support women in the way that you do.
Oh, it's such a loaded question.
So much.
Let's backtrack here. So a little bit about myself. So I was in the fitness industry for several years, and then I was actually hit by a car. I was knocked out for about 27 hours.
Wow.
And through that process, I ended up not being mobile for quite a while, actually gained a lot of weight, went through some period in my life of depression. But through that, change in my life and things like that happened. Like I wouldn't take back anything that happened to me through the years. But through that journey, I decided that I wasn't quite happy, I guess, as a career in the fitness industry. Even though I enjoyed fitness, it wasn't really my passion to teach other people fitness and things like that. I had more of the creative mind as well. And so YouTube came out. And when YouTube came out, I wanted to know about this YouTube beast thing, right? So I saw my friends doing silly videos. I was doing vlogs. I was dancing around with a hairbrush singing, to Stop the World Melt with You. So I love the 80s music. And then, the different things happened. So I started vlogging and then I started doing different things. And all of a sudden my friends were going viral doing parkour. And so I was like, I'm not going to do parkour. So that's just out of the question. And so I started doing these videos in my mid to late 20s. And then my family and friends were just like, why don't you go? You are so happy with the camera. You like to have fun. You like to edit things and you're such a creative. They're like, you light up when you do this stuff. But you're not happy when you come home from your career, basically. And for years, it took me 4 years to be like, oh, I can actually go back to film school and do some things and actually create a career instead of a hobby.
Nice.
Because for a long time in my mindset, I thought, well, no, this video thing's just a hobby, right?
Right.
And then I took it seriously and went back to school in my late 20s. Ended up graduating and I started my own production company. So I started turning around and doing different things from videography. I was a wedding videographer for several years for big, large corporations and contracted companies. And then I started doing other jobs, but I also went into doing video management, video marketing, things like that, and was hired by some corporations. I was not a fan of how they treated me as a woman in the corporations because the companies that I did work for, I'm not going to mention their names, but they primarily were male dominated and they didn't treat the women with much respect. And I didn't like that. I was like, women need to be treated equally, in different ways throughout the corporate system. Mm-hmm. And it just wasn't happening. I ended up moving up the chain, becoming, a manager and all these things like that. They were like, oh, you're going to get you stock in the company. They never did. They kept breaking these promises that they said. And I said to myself, you know what? I feel like I can create something bigger and better that treats people more equally. And so I turned around and started a production company. And I told myself, as soon as I had one client that could replace that income, I would take the freaking leap.
Nice.
And so I did. I ended up putting together this proposal for this very very famous cosmetic company. And it's all natural products. And it's actually a friend and colleague of mine, Gabriel Cosmetics.
Okay.
And so I put together a proposal. I said, I'd like to work with you on this level of capacity, basically as a contractor.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to pitch a proposal to work with you for an entire year. They said yes. And I was like, you know what? Awesome. So I had that time to also get other clients and things like that. So it actually paid more than I was making in the corporate industry as a contractor, less time on myself. I was still able to do weddings at the time and stuff like that. It's not something, the videography side is not something I'm passionate about, but I did it. I was a very beautiful editor. I still have the skill. I just haven't edited in years, but I have the knack for it. That was really my storytelling aspect. But that's really what happened though is, when we had the production company, what we do now actually evolved from what we did then. So we created short form content, teaser videos and trailer videos. Now we call them shorts, TikTok, reels. And it led back to a long form piece of content. Back then we directed documentary films, but we knew that we had to evolve because we couldn't just do one-off projects to be able to scale. Right. So we were thinking, well, what kind of medium can we turn around and create content for YouTube that people will enjoy and we can optimize it, but it can be weekly and consistent, right? What kind of system can we put together? And we were like, podcasting. And this was years back. And so podcasting is way more popular than when we started it.
Yes.
But that's a good thing for us. Right. And, so I was able to evolve, but because we had an experience where one of our teaser videos went viral, it had 888,000 views in a matter of 10 days.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, what happened here? So we're like, let's check the analytics. And so we started seeing what was happening with YouTube. And then we started implementing those strategies to our other clients' trailers. Wow. All of a sudden, multiple documentaries started to take off because it led back to the documentary. And then all of a sudden, IndieFlix found us because of YouTube. Yay. And we're like, yay. And then the documentaries went viral. And then I was started to be asked to speak at events and film festivals. Our films started selling out in film festivals. And then all of a sudden, IndieFlix is like, may we acquire your films?
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
And so I was super grateful for the opportunity. They came and approached us. They were in Seattle, Washington. I'm originally from Seattle. That was awesome too, because I started going to a lot of like film circuits and things like that, film festivals. And we won a bunch of awards, gratefully. And then from there, I was like, we want to do more though. We were telling these stories, these people, these companies, these founders, these influencers. We were telling their stories through documentaries, but I was like, why not help more people more often? So we shifted to that. But I didn't even realize it until later on in life that what we did then really played a tribute to what we do now, because it's a very similar system of short form content to long form content to help promote podcasts, but optimize them and pay attention to the data. Because, YouTube isn't something that's growth overnight, basically. Right. We try to put methods in place where we can launch it and optimize it, where they can potentially get their first subscribers within the first 3 to 6 months of working together. It doesn't always happen, but on average, people actually state that, or YouTube stats alone state that you actually, on average, a person doesn't reach the first 1,000 subscribers for 18 months.
Wow.
So we're actually helping our clients reach that at a lot faster capacity with our methods. So that's a long-winded story into that, but that's really where it started. Is I wasn't happy with my career. I wanted to change, do something that I thought was a hobby that I could turn into a business. And then going down that route to really take that leap away from the career that I had and replace the income with something else. And so that's really how it started. But then I knew that I had to build a company in order to sustain it. So
that's amazing. You know, what I love about that is that you took something that you're really passionate about that was a hobby. And a lot of us kind of get in that mindset of like, oh, I'll never be able to do anything with that, but have it as this thing off on the side. And look what you've made it into a career. And now fast forward, you're even helping people and find their passion and leverage these tools like podcasts and YouTube in order to turn their passions into a career. So that's so phenomenal. What would you say is kind of the average timeline, like your story, to get you out of corporate and then to, like you said, replace your income? What was that kind of timeline like for you?
Mine was a little unique because I'm that type of individual that like takes risks. More now is like more calculated risks. Back then I would just like dive into stuff. I'm like, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
I knew that I didn't want to leave corporate until I had that, but I was literally putting together portfolios, pitching people. I was going through all the contract sites first to see like who I could reach out to get potentially larger contracts than just like one-off projects like weddings and things like that.
Right.
And so I was like, well, I need to work with more people consistently and that track there. So for me, from corporate to starting Serious Take Serious Take Productions is our legal name. Broadcaster Authority is our overall brand. We basically probably took me 2.5 years to really transition that, but I worked really hard and put together proposals and did whatever I had to do. I dug my heels in deeper. I wouldn't take no for an answer. I'm the follow-up queen. Like people are always like, you're so good at the follow-up. We appreciate your persistence. Because if people don't say no, they're not, and whenever people say no, I ask why.
Yeah.
And so the way that you keep conversations going is that because you're learning from it. Like, don't be offended. Somebody said, no, we don't want to hire you or no, not at this time. Why? Is it a budget thing? Is it like, do you not like me? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, am I too persistent? Like, what, did you find somebody else? I literally, last week, our team, because I've taught the team to do this too. I told them send a message to a prospect that seemed extremely interested in working together. And we asked why he went with another company, right? And he's like, because it was a referral from a friend of mine. I was like, makes sense. I was like, referrals tend to outbeat many competitors, right? And so like, but it's like being able to get that feedback of certain things, like it's so important for that. Like, but that's how I did it. Like going on into leaving that career, I always asked questions and took action. And every time I fell on my face, I just got back up. It didn't really faze me. I've just, at this point, I have a very strong backbone, a little bit more about my deeper story. But like, just go after it. Like, and obviously when you have family and kids and you have to supply income and things like that, I mean, be very calculated with your leaving career. So.
Absolutely. Well, I like that you said that because I think, one of the things that we're seeing is that women tend to be less risky, even calculated or not. We kind of play it safe, and we're in a space now where it's important for women to kind of put their best foot forward and go ahead and take those risks. I think the stat's been floated this weekend that, only about 1.9% of female-owned businesses crack that 7-figure mark. And then,
which is so surprising. Yeah. Women have so much capabilities just as much as men do. Like they can really bust through those glass ceilings that are not really there.
Yeah.
You just put the intention out there first, set the intentions, take the action and move forward and ask for help. The biggest thing is to get help and don't think that you're weak because I think a lot of people think like, oh, I don't want to ask for help or maybe it's an emotional factor. Maybe women are more emotional on certain things. But I'm always like asking for help still at this point. I have mentors, I have people, I hire companies, that help with certain things, strategy, even on our level, we want to level up to the next level.
Right.
And so you always think of that bigger picture on that side. So it's like always ask for help and then build that circle of community that you can fall back on. And that's what I love about our community is we're introducing our clients to people. They're in a safe space with our experience model of people coming in to record at the retreats or when we have our show hosted at SiriusXM in Vegas. Like people are meeting people and they're all on a similar path, or we've been where you want to go or, there's always somebody you can talk to. So
that collaboration and connection, like, I'm kind of going through that experience with you here and it's just been phenomenal. The people that I've met since I've met you to just kind of help take that next step. And they say like, human connection and collaboration, those are the things that really, bring us joy. And as far as being human, that's the things that keeps us young and happy.
Well, it really is who you know, not what you know, because people can come in and be extremely knowledgeable, have a genius IQ and, not be open to collaborations. Where are you going to go? Like your network is very important aspect of how you grow and being open to collaborations and not being self-serving first, not having a huge ego on it, like always provide value first, always give back first, because it will come back to you.
Exactly.
And when you start to find those people that do the same thing, then it's continuous giving circle, right? It's like my buddy Bob Berg's book, The Go-Giver. If you've ever read those books,
check it out.
Highly recommend. He was on our show, Broadcast Your Authority. It's a great episode. Very extremely smart man, go-giver mentality. When I read the book, I was like, oh, that's what I do. That's how I work. That's how I treat people. I was like, that's a thing. It's called the Go-Giver. And you go into these communities, and a lot of people in the entrepreneur space know that term. And people can go in there and be full-fledged a go-giver. So people can walk in and state that they're a go-giver, but then they're still doing things for themselves. But you understand that when you meet people. So
absolutely.
And you truly will find those people in your tribe when you do find the right people to hang around.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Yeah. One of the things that we've talked about this weekend is that, women tend to not hire because we are so good at multitasking and doing it all. And so part of that connection
delegation is the biggest thing ever. So I am not anymore, but when growing up, I was a complete perfectionist, and I still know perfectionist. We have clients that are perfectionists, right? And it's not that it's not a bad thing, but it can hold you back from so many different things. You can be a perfectionist and be a multi-million-dollar CEO, and things like that, but it's still, you have to let go of certain things and control, right? And so I knew that I was good at certain things, like beautiful editor, right? For the production side. Did I want to do that in my whole life? No, I did not. Allow people that are passionate, primarily on that skill, that are really good at that skill, and hire them for those specific skills. Yes. They're passionate and they have the skill, right? And so that's what I started to do. I started to release things. I didn't want to do the videography part. I didn't really want to do it from the first place, but I did. But I had the skills. I did. I had the gear, everything. And so we started outsourcing that. And I was like, that's great because it doesn't put any pressure on me. So we started delegating every aspect that in our system: graphic designers, copywriters, social media managers, SEO specialists. So I was like, well, these people have great references. They have good background. They love what they do. And they're good at what they do. And these people that work with our company, the majority of them have worked with us for at least 3 to 5 years at this point.
Oh, wow.
So we're providing stability. They have a job with us. They're passionate about what they do. We treat them with respect, treat them kindly, and give them bonuses and incentives and praise every time they do something great. Every time a client sends a great email about like, hey, I just want you to give you this feedback. This happened because of you guys. Thank you so much. And then we let the team know any of this positive feedback because you want to give them their wins, right?
Absolutely.
And so the biggest thing, I got excited when I started delegating more because I was like, I'm providing jobs for people. I'm creating stability, like not I, but like the team, the whole company. Right. And I was just like, well, what am I passionate about? I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. What am I really good at? I was like, strategy. I'm very quick to think, very fast. I'm a problem solver. There's certain things that I'm just very quick with. And so I started just focusing on those abilities to help more people with those things. And then I love experiences. Nice. And so being able to vibe and create experiences, but also help people lights me up. And so that we started adding that into our experience. But we have team members now, like over 40 people that we're working with every week on the shows. So it's cool to say that, but in order to do that, you have to trust people.
Yes. And
people don't always work out, and it's okay. So you just fire fast and hire again.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting. You're going to go through the process, train people. If it doesn't work out in 90 days, release them. Like definitely release them. If it's not working out really well, release them the first 30 days. But you'll know, you got the people that are hungry and driven, and maybe they just need a little hand holding, a little bit of training. Those people will go wonders with you long term.
Absolutely. Yeah. I like that because trust, accountability, empowerment are big things that keep people sticky to an organization, but then also showing them their wins and then really letting them do the things that they love. There's a book that I read called Who Not How, and it talked about kind of the 80-20. It sounds like you've done that is over your career, you look at what you love to do and you let go of the 80% and keep the 20% that you love.
100%.
And then you pass that on to your team members. And retention is big with
it's very big. And the thing is we are empowering leaders. So you treat your team as a leader in every single category. So all of our project managers, all of our producers, we empower them to be leaders because they're managing the rest of the team. So we're building leaders, not just teams.
I wish every organization would understand that mentality, because when you take that approach with your team, then you grow people who stay in the organization. Yeah. And like in Jim Collins' book, Built to Last, he talks about the organizations that are fabrics of our society, like the Walmarts and the Amazons. And the things that they do well is they grow their leaders from within, and they're really focused on the culture, mission, and values. And they give that to everyone, empower and trust. And now that's why, we're probably not going to know a world without Amazon and Walmart.
People born today, for sure.
Well, it's been phenomenal talking to you today. I think we could do another show and talk more about all the things that you're bringing to this world. So Tamara, why don't you tell everybody where they can follow you and learn more about Broadcast Your Authority?
Well, thank you for having me. And I'm so excited for you launching your show, The Happy Life Agenda. So congrats to you as well for having this incredible show and platform for women to come out too. Thank you for having me on the show. Those of you that are tuning in, you can check out broadcastyourauthority.com to learn more about the different opportunities of podcasting world that we help cater our clients. Social media, we're Broadcast Your Authority everywhere. If you'd like to connect with me personally, Tamara Thompson Official. Tamara Thompson was taken, so I had to be like a Tamara Thompson Official. So officially Tamara Thompson on Instagram. I love Instagram. Feel free to reach out, and I'd be happy to connect with anyone that watches the show. So thank you, Dani.
Well, thanks, Tamara. And you can find me again on the Happy Life Agenda. We'll, of course, have more episodes coming to you. So make sure you click subscribe, and then head to happylifeagenda.com, where we'll recap this conversation and give you more places where you can connect with Tamara and keep the conversation going. So thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next time.